Hello everyone, this is StrawberryShorty here with a recap and review of Wednesday Chapter 4, Whoa, What a Night, which is probably the most clever use of whoa yet. And we should probably hurry up and just jump right into this one because we have cleared a page with my notes this time. So, we kick things off at the coroner's office in Jericho where something is in the vent, and it turns out, of course, to be Thing, who covers the security cameras, which apparently no one's watching the security cameras. And just in general, this place has terrible security. Like, him and Wednesday are able to sneak in pretty easily. But can you imagine watching camera footage and you see a hand just crawling through? Like, that'd be interesting. So Wednesday goes to check the body while she has Thing print up the autopsy files of the other victims. And basically we learn, as expected, that the squatter guy was like disemboweled and wrecked, basically. And it turns out he is missing a foot. And someone is coming. I initially think it's going to be an ally. It's not an ally. It is the sheriff and a random doctor man. So Wednesday and Thing quickly hide, and the doctor is revealed to have the foot, which he reveals a curious bit of knowledge. A few of the toes were sawed off. And that's something a human would do, which makes us think we're dealing with more than just a person who is turning into a monster and killing people. There's got to be a human element to this. The sheriff leaves, and I honestly think that the doctor's going to die, because it's just being alone in a dark coroner office just seems like what's going to happen. And he's initially acting a little sus, because when he says he's going to lock up, it feels weird. He finds Wednesday in the morgue thing, but mistakes her for a corpse. Slides her back in and just leaves. Thing is also hiding, but Thing is hiding in the skull of like one of those anatomy skeletons. I'm not sure why he's there. He's small. He could hide anywhere realistically. I would actually think it would take more effort to climb up that skeleton and hide in that skull, but whatever. So back in her room, Wednesday is hanging up all these really gross, horrifying photos. Enid is understandably freaked out, but Wednesday is far more freaked out by Enid's unicorn collection, which we do not get to see. She reveals to Enid that all of the victims had parts surgically removed, and one theory that kind of popped into my head was that Tyler was killing them all and taking their parts to try and bring his mom back, which is a bit crazy. But I won't say what it was called, but I actually did read a book recently where there were serial killings, and it turned out the killer was harvesting parts from the victims to try and bring their dead mother back, so not that crazy. Well, actually crazy, but Enid ends up passing out. This whole scene, I'm kind of thinking that Enid's behavior is weird, because in the last episode, Ajax stood her up and she was very upset, and she didn't seem to be upset about anything in this scene up until Wednesday started showing her the gross pictures and describing in detail gross stuff. We cut to plant class where the teacher is talking about naughty plant stuff. Xavier reaches for something and is clearly in pain, with big scratches on his neck. He makes some excuse. Everyone is all excited about a big dance called the Raven that's coming up. Wednesday, of course, has no interest in going, but, well, we all know she goes, because we've seen the preview, and honestly, you can't look at any news site without hearing everyone talking about the dance and showing a picture of her in that dress she wears, so, yeah. And the teacher is being an awesome teacher and not giving the students any homework so they can just focus on the dance. Wednesday follows Xavier and spots him really because she's spying, leaving that shed that we saw in the last episode, only this time there's no lock, which is weird. Why would you lock it every other time and not this time? Inside she finds a bunch of his artwork, and it is art of the monster. Wednesday takes one of the pictures and then leaves, and is subsequently found by Xavier, who knows she followed him but does not know she went inside his shed. She makes an excuse about that she followed him. She sounds like she's lying, like when she makes her excuses, which is very unlike her. He makes the excuse that she can't come in because it's messy in there, which isn't art studios supposed to be messy? They're art studios. Apparently the headmistress let him have the shed because he cleaned it up. That's apparently a thing they do. Shouldn't they just have an art area for the students? And Wednesday claims that she followed him to talk about the homework that the teacher gave them, except literally 5 seconds ago the teacher flat out said, that she wasn't giving them any homework. So, again, really bad lie on her part. So, she kind of seems to think he might possibly be the killer, which is kind of a weird theory, because, like, what killer paints themselves and draws themselves being a monster? Like, it just seems like a weird choice. And yeah, so he suspects that she's actually there to ask him to the dance, and wanting to get more information, she does basically ask him. He makes her actually say the words, and I'm not sure why he does this, because you want her to go with you, but like, if you try and force her to ask, it was very believable that she would, just end up running off. So, yeah. And I'm trying to remember all my notes here. Oh, I had to briefly stop the recording, which means I don't know how long I've recorded, because I can't figure out how to check. Because I was trying to remember what I wrote in my notes. So, like, I was thinking that, like, could it be that the blood we saw at the dance in that preview thing be Bianca, because she's mad that Wednesday is going with Xavier? So, anyway, we cut to the room where Enid is super excited that they're both going to the dance. And again, this is so weird, because, like, shouldn't she be bringing up Ajax or depressed about Ajax? It's just not being addressed, and I want to know what's going on. So they go dress shopping, or they're supposed to go dress shopping, and we see Wednesday's face, and she's like, what is this dystopian hellscape? And I think it would have been funny if this had been like a well-known store, like a Walmart or something, but it's just some random Jericho-specific store, which is a bummer. Wednesday just doesn't share Enid's enthusiasm, so she encourages Enid to go into the shop with some of her friends, and starts to wander off before spotting a really cool-looking black dress in the antique shop, which, when we were last in there, that antique shop had nothing but rats, so I don't know. She runs into the therapist, and asks her if she's buying more souvenirs for her shop, and the therapist claims that these souvenirs are from all the different places she's visited, and I'm just imagining her killing and taking rats from all the different places she's visited and turning them into art. Wednesday heads to see the sheriff, wanting to work with him. He compares her to Velma from Scooby-Doo and basically urges her to leave it to the cops. I don't know why he compares her to Velma. She's not really like any of those characters, though I guess there's not really many gothic-type detectives. But Velma? And again, why would the monster draw himself? Because she shows him the drawing, and it's like, I think this could be done by the killer. And we cut to Enid with her friends in the coffee shop, and a dude comes in, and I don't know what happened. I thought this was Ajax, and I was like, oh, finally, we're going to get Ajax. And the dude comes and wants to talk to Enid, and he's being all friendly and happy. And it's only after they leave that I'm like, oh, this isn't Ajax. This is an entirely different dude. It's the hair. The hair looked like Ajax's cap. So this is actually Lucas. And he's smiling and acting pleasant, which I think is what also threw me. And Enid kind of calls him out, like, she knows who he is, knows that he's not just, that it's not just a coincidence they ran into each other. And he's surprised to learn she's Wednesday's roommate. And he claims that he wants her to help him out. And I'm just like, what's up with that? But we don't learn, because we cut to Wednesday running into Tyler. And he is not happy when he learns that she is going to the dance with Xavier. And you kind of maybe get the idea that he dislikes Xavier as much as Xavier dislikes him. But it seems he's a bit more upset because he expected Wednesday to ask him. And I don't know why he expected that with her personality. Apparently he thought that they liked each other, which I guess is fair, but I don't know. I feel like he might have been expecting a bit much of her. He gets upset with her and leaves. She sets up her board thing, her murder board, in the bee club. And I want the bee kid to go with Enid. Like, Enid shouldn't have a date because, the whole thing with Ajax didn't work out, but they won't address it. Oh, and apparently bee kid's name is Eugene. I'm rooting for him. I want to see him get with Enid, or at least find true love. I still do think that Wednesday is being too trusting. Like, she's openly telling him about the monster and her theories, and it's like, again, this could be the monster for all you know. Be the monster. Anyway, so he recognizes a kind of swirly thing with a shadow from one of the drawings, I think she took more than one drawing, because I don't remember that drawing being there initially. But he recognizes it as a cave he saw in the woods, and at her request, he takes her there. We saw this cave in the preview. It's very small, so I don't know why they think that's the monster's hideout. He doesn't want to go in because he's claustrophobic. I don't blame him, but I feel like staying out alone is far more dangerous. He does kind of end up going with her, and they find a lot of animal bones in the cave. But the thing that actually concerns me is that there are manacles in there, and not like the loose kind with like really long chains where it's like, oh, maybe the monster was chained up here, but like the kind that you use to put someone's hands up on the wall. And it's like, that seems concerning. Wednesday finds what turns out to be a piece of the monster's claw, I guess, and she exclaims Yahtzee, which feels not like something she would say. And she returns to Xavier's art studio, and I'm so nervous she'll get caught. Because of my anxiety, I'm like that anytime someone is snooping around somewhere they shouldn't be. Especially with a setup like this. Like, it just really feels like she's going to get caught. I don't know why I didn't feel this the first time she was there. And I'm not wrong, she does get caught after she finds a bloody rag. Though not before she hides the rag in her backpack. And she starts questioning Xavier about, like, how do you know the monster and all that. And he basically claims that he has been seeing the monster in his dreams, and that's how he got cut. The claw came out of the painting and scratched him, which is interesting. Apparently he can't control his powers, which are not clearly defined, when it comes to that monster. And again, she really kind of hints that she thinks he's the monster, and it's like, are his clothes magic? Like, after the monster ran off, you ran into Xavier, but he was fully clothed, and in no way, like, was he even wet? Like, this doesn't really seem likely that he could be the monster, and there's no way Xavier's the monster. I feel confident in saying it. But, anyway, Xavier kind of understandably gets upset with her for just basically using him and lying, and tells her to get out. She does. She takes her evidence to the sheriff, and he agrees to do a blood test on it. But she will not tell him who did the drawing until the blood test comes out. She goes to meet with Eugene, and I'm kind of thinking, are Eugene and Wednesday going to end up going to the dance? That's what Eugene thinks too, but Wednesday's like, no, we're going to go check out that cave. And Bianca, having learned Xavier no longer has someone to go with, asks him, and he agrees. I'm not really sure if that's a smart idea, but, whatever, it's the dance. We cut to Thing typing on Wednesday's typewriter, and I'm super curious what he's typing, and then realize he's planning to play matchmaker. So he types a note from Wednesday to Tyler and leaves it in the tip jar. And while I like the idea of matchmaker Thing, this just seems really risky, because again, Wednesday's making plans to go with Eugene, and like, for all he knows, not to go to the dance with Eugene, but to go somewhere with Eugene, for all he knows, she could end up taking someone else to the dance. So making a plan like this seems really risky. Like, if Tyler had showed up later, she would have already been gone, and that would have ended really, really poorly, because Tyler would have been devastated. Anyone would be devastated if they show up for a dance, and then that person, doesn't show up. I've had people, like, make plans with me and then not show up, and it sucks. But, anyway. Gosh. I ended up going off on a tangent. I totally lost my notes, so. Still not addressing Ajax at all. Because we finally show the dance, which is very white. We don't see Ajax. I want to see Enid, because everyone and everything is white. The background is white. Everyone is dressed in white. And surely, Enid will show up in a splash of color, right? Because that's how Enid seems to do things. We see the headmistress with Thornhill, and seriously, she is tall. Like, insanely tall. And while Thornhill is like, oh, didn't you used to look at this Dance with Hope like all these kids did? Don't you remember that? And Mistress Weems reveals that she views it as disappointing because the guy that she wanted to ask ended up going with another girl. And I'm like, was the guy she asked Gomez, was the girl Morticia? It is confirmed that the girl is Morticia. We don't learn who the guy is, but Thornhill makes a note that that's Wednesday's mother. And Tyler shows up as Wednesday is getting ready to leave with Eugene. Well, Eugene's not there. She's just getting ready. And she basically figures out what Thing did, and I'm just like, run, Thing, run. And Tyler says how her note was really sweet and heartfelt, and I really want to know what Thing wrote. Wednesday slams the door to get ready, mostly just to yell at Thing. Thing reveals he stole that dress from the antique shop, so she gets to wear that. I don't know how he stole a dress that big. Like, you'd think someone would notice a dress being drug all along the streets or whatever, but, you know. I'm feeling bad for Eugene. Like, what about Eugene? Are we just not going to address this? I'm surprised she agreed to go with Tyler at all after this. I guess she really does have more of a heart than she likes to let on. I'm also kind of puzzled as the two of them meet and he sees her in that dress, that he is not curious about Xavier at all. Like, he knows she made plans to go with Xavier. Does he have no questions about what happened? And Eugene finds them, and it's really sad, because, you know, he was looking forward to going to explore that cave, and now he's being ditched. And he plans to go alone. She tells him not to. Tyler leaves a box behind, which I would imagine is supposed to be the corsage, but he just leaves it, and I'm just like, why are you leaving that box? And then Eugene basically states that he doesn't fear anything, and he's going to go to the cave anyway, which is super stupid. We cut back to the dance, and again, it's just too white. We finally see Enid, and she looks cute. I like her dress. She's got her hair kind of a purplish, light purple color, but it's not colorful at all, which is surprising. And apparently she's taking Lucas to the dance, and it's just like, why? We finally see Ajax. He's there with another girl, but nothing is addressed. He acknowledges she's with Lucas, clearly isn't happy about it, but no dialogue between the two of them. And then we have a scene that I kind of like, because we see Xavier kind of sitting there moping, and he's not happy when he's mopey, because he wanted to be there with Wednesday. And Bianca kind of calls him out, like, you know, you're here with me, let's dance, whatever. And the minute he's like, yeah, let's just forget about Wednesday, it's like, well, cue entrance, and sure enough, she enters. Everyone's like, wow, look at her. Thornhill shows up and meets Tyler. He remembers her espresso order or whatever. I got the feeling that something was going on here. This scene felt a little weird. Like, I don't know. I'm trusting Thornhill less and less. Wednesday meets with Enid and is surprised to see her there with Lucas. She talks about how he has 2 strikes already, and I'm like, shouldn't it be 3 strikes? You know, what he did at the coffee shop, the bats at the fair, and then the whole thing with the stockade. Like, he has a bunch of strikes already, and 1 strike, honestly, is more than enough with the level of stuff he's been doing. Enid claims that he's just there to make his ex jealous, and I'm wondering if his ex is going to turn out to be Bianca. But something about this feels weird, because why would his ex be an outcast? And he shows up, hands up, and still smiling, and just being like, you know, hey, I come in peace. And he's acting too innocent. Like, this is the kind of thing you say if you did something mild, not when you showed up with the intent to beat a girl with baseball bats. Like, it's off. I don't care for it. So Xavier comes up to Wednesday while she's getting some drinks, and he's upset that she took Tyler, and ends up deciding he's going to tell her, at her request, what Tyler did to him, because, like, oh, you wouldn't be happy to be here with him if you knew. I don't know why he wouldn't just tell her whatever happened earlier. But it cuts to, like, and the whole time this is happening, I'm thinking, like, isn't Tyler looking at Wednesday at all? Won't he see the two of them talking? But anyway, Lucas is up to something. We see him texting with 2 people in a chat, and it's obviously going to be his friends, and some kind of plot's afoot. Enid returns, and they end up talking about their similar interests, and it's like, is he actually going to start to like her? We cut to Eugene checking out the woods. I'm wondering if he's going to be caught. Like, I feel like he'd get caught by a human, and they'd, like, fake us out and make us think the monster got him. We don't see a lot of him. We don't actually see Xavier telling Wednesday what happened. We find her moping outside the dance. Tyler goes, and she basically confronts him. So apparently Tyler and his friends assaulted Xavier during the last outreach thing, and they destroyed his mural, which I'm guessing is the white painted building or whatever. Although you'd think they would not do that with white paint. Like, wouldn't they deface it some other way? Or maybe they didn't, it got painted over? I want a lot more details here, like what specifically they did. Tyler doesn't really try to sugarcoat it, says he doesn't know why he did it, got sent to boot camp, and he's a different person now, he's trying to become a better person. I'm just wondering if he apologized, because Tyler doesn't act like he apologized. And Wednesday says, you think I would judge you over a prank. That isn't a prank. No part of that is a prank. Assaulting someone is not a prank. Spraying over their artwork is not a prank. None of it is a prank. And at this point, I'm kind of Team Xavier here, because Like, I in general don't like it when people that claim to care about me are then hanging out with people who mistreated me, or just in general. Like, why would you want to hang out with someone who does stuff like that? And, like, I'm not saying she has to hold a grudge that she can't forgive him, but the fact that she just dismisses it as a prank, it does kind of bother me, and it feels like he probably didn't apologize, you know? But, anyway. So, we see this big vehicle driving. It seems to be going past the woods, and then we cut to Wednesday dancing, and it is the weirdest dance. Very chaotic. I love her expressions during it, though. She throws her head up at one point like she does when she has a vision. I thought she was going to have one, but she doesn't. Lucas is still bonding with Enid, and I'm wondering if he's going to end up trying to stop the prank. And then we get to the scene I actually like. I confused it with the earlier Xavier-Bianca scene. Xavier is still moping over Wednesday, and again, admittedly, I kind of understand this, because, you know, like, you just told her that Tyler assaulted you and destroyed your artwork, and she's still dancing with him. But at the same time, you're here with Bianca, maybe pay attention to her. This is very disrespectful. And then, you know what he says to her? He asks Bianca to do him a favor. Make him forget Wednesday with her powers. Take her amulet off and do it. So apparently her amulet prevents her from using her siren powers. And she gets mad. She's like, first you break up with me because you think I'm manipulating you with my siren powers. Now you want me to use them to make you forget another girl? And she storms off. And she's very justified in this. Team Bianca all the way. You know. And then we see everyone's dancing along with Wednesday. The merman guy is doing the worm. Little random. He's like one of the only other non-main students I recognize. The truck shows up on school grounds, so you can kind of tell it's for the prank. Those two jerky guys get out. The school has no freaking security at all. No one in this town has any security. And Lucas actually does come out and try to stop them. And they ask if he's going soft like Tyler. So apparently these are Tyler's old friends. And their prank is revenge for the statue. Because you know these kids, they care about their statues of old pilgrim people. Eugene, out in the woods, sees someone with a flashlight. And they see him as well. And then suddenly the cave explodes in fire. And it's curious who this could be, because most of the cast should be at the dance. So that's interesting. I really like, the sheriff is probably not at the dance. The sheriff's assistant, maybe the therapist. But I don't know if the monster or the monster's ally would be any of them. And how many people know that the cave has been found? Wednesday leaves the dance complaining about her high heels, and she runs into Bianca, who's, you know, sitting there upset. And they have kind of a nice talk where Bianca talks about how she can never tell someone's true feelings because her amulet isn't foolproof. So apparently people can be drawn to her no matter what. And so she can never know if she can trust someone's feelings, similar to how Tyler could never trust if he actually liked her or not. And she's envious of Wednesday because Wednesday doesn't care how people think. And Wednesday confesses she wished that she cared more. And, you know, I've heard of people complaining about, like, bullying on the show, like accusing the show of racism because of the bullies. I think they were saying, like, all the bullies are black or something. And it's like, I really don't see Bianca as a bully still. Like, there's time for it to change, but she really doesn't seem like a bully. Lucas and his friends seem like bullies, but there's more white guys on that team than black guys, I'm just saying. But yeah, I hate that argument. I don't want to harp on it too much. I don't like talking about drama on my show, on my channel, but that kind of got on my nerves. But anyway, so we cut to Eugene running. I'm not really sure what this is really weird because the flashlight person, like, shines their flashlight on him, but they don't seem to be chasing him. It seems like they turn and run away. So he's running. We cut to the dance. Xavier is still there and still moping. I'm not sure why Xavier is still here. Like, shouldn't you have left the dance by now? Why are you still sitting there? The prank happens, and as we saw in the preview, it is this reddish, blood-like liquid raining down on everyone. Headmistress is freaking out and screaming. Ajax seems oddly unbothered. Everyone else is upset and falling. Wednesday, as we saw, tastes it, and it's apparently just paint, which, you shouldn't be licking paint. That's unhealthy. That's actually really dangerous, isn't it? Like, couldn't someone get sick? She has a vision of Eugene running in the woods and, like, about to be attacked, so she tells Thornhill when Thornhill asks if she's alright, and she rushes off to find him. We're making surprisingly good time. I think I'm just talking real fast. Like, despite all my notes, I'm talking about it really fast. Maybe it's because we don't jump around as much this episode. Xavier finally tries to leave, getting angry when he bumps into Tyler, who's apparently calling his father. And we see Lucas join up with the guys, and then Enid comes out and finds out that they're behind the prank. Lucas tries to explain himself while the guys are just laughing, and Enid is devastated and like, oh, I thought you were different, I thought you liked me. And the two non-Lucas guys start like chanting wolf out. Ajax comes out and yells at them. They run off. And apparently Enid and Ajax have not talked about what happened, him standing her up, since it happened. It was just not addressed, not by the show, not by them, just not at all. And this is insane to me, because, like, if a guy stands you up, wouldn't you want to know, or be mopey, or... And he was apparently too embarrassed that he accidentally stoned himself. And, like, you stood her up. Like, you didn't think you could say something, anything? Even just apologize? Like, oh, I'm too embarrassed to... Like, something? So, we cut back to the forest. Wednesday is racing through it. Eugene is racing through it. Wednesday is desperately trying to find Eugene. Eugene falls and loses his glasses and tries to find them. Here's Wednesday and shouts out to her, but the monster catches him and we see it attacking him, swinging its claws. And Wednesday manages to find him and he's not moving. And I'm thinking this whole time, my first thought, did Eugene have a protective vest on? Because, like, I've been wrong before, but, like, that's my gut instinct, is that the beginning of the next episode, Eugene's just going to open his eyes and be like, yeah, I wore this extra thick vest for protection. Thornhill shows up and is like, is he still alive? And the way she says it is so weird. Again, I am so suspicious to her. I mean, I guess we're supposed to be a little suspicious after the whole knowing about the nightshades thing last episode, but the mystery deepens. Like, a lot of people seem to think Tyler is the monster, but I just don't know how that would add up. But I continue to be curious. I think right now Bianca and Wednesday might be the characters I like most. And Thing. I guess I like Enid too. I don't know about the guys though. Well, I think Thing is the guy. But, so what did you think of this episode? Who do you think the monster could be? Again, if you know, don't say it. You can say who you thought it was at this point, just don't make it clear who it is. And what did you think of all the stuff that happened at the dance? Do you think Wednesday should have been madder at Tyler? Do you think Xavier should have been better to Bianca? Let me know in the comments. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll catch you next time. Bye!